Let me say this clearly right now. Walking away from a narcissist and going no contact is one of the toughest and bravest decisions you will ever take. And if you are here listening, it means you have either already done it or you are thinking about doing it. But here is the honest truth. Just because you are finished with them does not mean they are done with you. Actually, the exact moment you go silent, that is when their real game starts. Because narcissists never just leave. Oh no, they plan, they scheme, and they simply wait. They are not staying silent because they respect your limits. They are not avoiding you because they have moved on with their life. They are quiet because they are figuring out their next step. And today I am opening the curtain. I'm going to reveal to you the 7 hidden things a narcissist secretly hopes to get from you when you shut them out, not the loud drama. I am talking about what is going on in the background, what they are hoping you will do, what they are waiting to see, and why your silence is not rest for them. Is a strategy. So, if you have ever doubted your choice, if you have ever wondered why you still feel like they are pulling at your emotions, stay with me. Because by the time you finish this, you will see their game plan clearly. And even better, you will know exactly how to win it. When you go no contact with a narcissist, it sparks a reaction. It might not be a big argument or a direct fight. Sometimes it is something tiny, a post, a like, a story view, a quick message, anything that shows them they still get under your skin. Because when you go silent, their mind does not see that as the end. It sees it as a challenge, a test of their power. And trust me, they are watching. They monitor every move, even when it looks like they have forgotten you. Why? Because your silence is not just quietness to them. It is a threat to the control they once held. Narcissists live on attention. It does not matter if it is love or hate. It is all fuel for them. When you cut contact, it is like you have shut off their air supply. That silence, that peace. It is powerful to you, but it is unbearable to them. It confuses them, frustrates them, and makes them question their grip. They cannot stand not knowing how you feel. And what they hate even more is the idea that you might actually be doing okay without them. So, what is their move? They poke you. At the start, it is tiny. They might watch your story, but never type a single word. They might post something vague that sounds like it is directed at you. They might ask a mutual friend about you or leave a comment somewhere from your past, hoping it reaches you. All of this is bait. They want a reaction. Any reaction proves you are still in the game, even if you think you are not. And this is where it gets risky. Narcissists know your habits. They know what bothers you. If they cannot make you talk, they will settle for making you feel. If they cannot pull you back into their life, they will settle for staying inside your head. They want you replaying the last fight. They want you checking their social media, wondering if they are happy. They want you angry or sad because every emotional reaction, even one you do not show, feeds them power. They do not need you to text back. They just need to know that you care. That is their victory. Because if you still care, they still control the game. The second you react, even a little bit, a comment, a post that sounds emotional, a shared quote, they know the door is still cracked open. And if the door is open, they can step right back in when they want. Now, let's talk about the mind games they play during no contact. Sometimes they will vanish on purpose, hoping you will begin asking why. Why aren't they trying to reach out? Did they forget you that fast? Did they ever care at all? That silence is an act. It is not peace. It is a trick. They are using absence to make you doubt your choice. They want your confusion to push you into breaking the silence. The second you text, the second you reach out, it is over. They have won back control. They do not just want a reaction. They expect it. They rely on it. They truly believe you will not last, that you will miss them, second guess yourself, and give in. And if they cannot reach you straight on, they will come at you sideways. They will post subtle messages, spread half-truths, or suddenly start showing off a new relationship. It is not because they have moved on. It is because they want to keep you watching. They want to make sure you still feel something. Because feelings equal attention, and attention equals control. Every move they make during no contact is calculated. It is not progress. It is manipulation. They are not moving forward. They are trying to pull you backward. They want to reset the same painful cycle. They want to make sure that even when you are silent, they still hold space in your thoughts. And every single day you stay quiet, you take back your strength piece by piece. When a narcissist loses access to you, they do not suddenly become self-aware. They do not feel real regret. What they do instead is twist your silence into guilt. They want to turn it into a mirror that makes you doubt yourself. They crave your guilt, your second-guessing, your emotional confusion. They know guilt is one of the strongest chains. And if they cannot touch you physically, they will work to live inside your mind for free. For them, your silence is not just rejection, it is humiliation. It is an attack on their ego. But instead of facing that truth, they rewrite the story. Suddenly, you are the one acting cold. You are the one who left without trying. You become the bad guy. This reversal is powerful because it makes you question your own reality. You start replaying every conversation, every argument, wondering where things went wrong. They want that. They want you lost in that emotional loop, so deep in it that you start forgetting why you went no contact in the first place. They want you remembering the good moments, the charm, the laughter, and ignoring the manipulation and pain. They want you to think, maybe I made a big deal out of nothing. Maybe they were not that terrible. Maybe I gave up too soon. That doubt is their back door. If they can plant even one seed of shame in your mind, they know it is only a matter of time before you feel like you owe them something, a text, an explanation, a chance. Narcissists are masters at using your empathy against you. That is why they picked you. Your compassion, your loyalty, your depth, everything they do not have, they feed off. And when they cannot guilt you into returning, they will guilt you for leaving. They will act like they are broken, abandoned, misunderstood. They will play the victim, not always directly, but through others. Mutual friends, social media posts, subtle silence that pulls at your conscience. It is manipulation without direct contact. And it works especially when you are still healing. Because for a kind person, guilt feels unbearable. They know it. They count on it. They do not want your love. They want your emotional energy. They want your inner turmoil. That invisible tension you carry late at night when you start thinking, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I was too sensitive. That is their goal. They hand you their emotional mess and stand back to watch if you will clean it up. They do not want peace. They want confusion. They want to make your strength feel like cruelty, your distance feel like betrayal. And when guilt grows, it does not whisper, it screams. And narcissists know how to make it echo until it fills your thoughts. Even without contact, they want control. They want to live in your mind for free. They want your obsession. Not the type where you run after them, but the type where you cannot stop repeating what happened. They want you wondering what you could have done differently. They want you thinking about what they are doing now. That is the real goal. If they cannot have your body or your time, they will take your peace. Because for them, being remembered, being thought about, even being hated, is still power. When you find yourself replaying arguments, imagining what they might say if you talked again, that is them still pulling the strings. They built that loop in your head on purpose. They trained you to question, to hope, to fix. But every single time you fight that need to reach out, you snap that loop a little bit more. You start replacing their voice with your own. You stop asking, what if they change? And start saying, I deserve calm. And that is where your real power begins. Because narcissists can only live where chaos exists. The more peace you choose, the less air they have to breathe. The more silent you stay, the more invisible their control becomes. Your distance is not weakness. It is recovery. It is the end of their illusion and the start of your freedom. Analyzing their actions, trying to make sense of their mixed signals, or constantly checking social media to see if they have posted something new. That type of focus is energy. It is attention. And they love knowing they still hold that much power over you without saying a single word. To them, it means the bond is not broken. It is just shifted. They do not need to talk when they have already taken space inside your mind. This is exactly why narcissists end relationships surrounded by confusion. They almost never give you an ending. They will not accept blame. They will not explain themselves. And they definitely will not acknowledge your pain. Instead, they disappear. They ghost. They discard. Or they turn cold without any warning because they know that confusion is the quickest path to obsession. The human brain hates open endings. It wants answers. So when someone vanishes or flips the story with no explanation, your mind races to fill in the gaps trying to find meaning in the chaos. And that is exactly what they count on. The more you think, the more they stay in control. Sometimes they will even sprinkle a little false hope before they disappear. Maybe they mentioned a future with you, maybe they apologized just enough to keep you uncertain, or maybe they said they just need space for a while. Those are not harmless words. They are crumbs, mental traps that keep you wondering if they will come back, if they meant what they said, or if you should wait, and every second you spend trapped in that mental loop is a victory for them. Even their silence can be calculated. By staying quiet, they know your mind will do the work for them. You will wonder why they are not reaching out, if they ever cared, if you did something wrong. That emptiness becomes an echo chamber that keeps you addicted to thinking about them, trying to fill in the blanks. They may not send you messages, but they will post something suggestive, a vague caption, or a photo that seems to show they are happy and moving on without you. None of that is random. It is designed to keep you emotionally spinning. The obsession they create is not about love or missing the good times. It is about emotional control. They want your healing to be slow. They want your confidence tied to their approval. They want your memories of them to interrupt your peace, your rest, your progress. Because if they still live in your thoughts, they still matter. And for them, fading into nothingness is the real nightmare. That is why detaching from a narcissist is not only about blocking them or cutting communication. It is about taking back your mental and emotional space. As long as they occupy your thoughts, they do not need to be in your life to affect it. They have built a version of themselves inside your head that replays moments, analyzes details, and second-guesses everything. The worst part is that you might not even notice you are doing it. You might mistake it for part of the healing process. But to the narcissist, that ongoing fixation is a delayed source of supply. It feeds their ego even in silence. So even when there is no contact, the game continues, not through calls or texts, but through the emotional residue they left behind. They count on you to carry it, revisit it, and relive it. That is what they want, to stay unforgettable, even if it is through pain. When a narcissist is faced with no contact, they rarely see it as a boundary. They see it as a break in their game, a pause before the next round. They do not really believe you are gone forever. Deep down, they guess you will come back one day. Maybe not soon, but eventually. They count on it because they have trained you through cycles, love bombing, devaluation, chaos. They have conditioned your emotions to crave their attention, to fear losing them, and to seek their approval even when it hurts. So when you finally pull away, they do not panic. They wait. They expect you to break first. They believe their influence is timeless. They know what makes you feel guilty, what makes you doubt yourself, and what you still secretly hope for. They have shaped a version of themselves that is difficult to fully hate even after everything. So when you walk away, they do not think it is over. They think you just need time to cool off, to miss them. They believe you will eventually reach out. Until then, they stay quiet, confident that you are still emotionally tied to them. Sometimes they will even twist your silence into a weapon. They will tell people you are being cold or immature, or that you abandon them without reason. They do it to rewrite the tale, to make it seem like they are the victim. That is the trick. If they can make it look like you overreacted, it keeps the door open for them to manipulate again later. And if you feel guilty or misunderstood, you might reach out to explain yourself, which is exactly what they want. Even if they say nothing, their thinking does not change. In their mind, you are not done. You are just emotional. They tell themselves, you will come back once you calm down. That is why many narcissists do not rush in when you go silent. It is not because they have moved on. It is because they are calculating. They are testing your strength. They want to see how long it takes before you crumble. They want to confirm that the dependency they built still lives inside you. And if you do reach out even once, they take it as proof. To them, it is not about love. It is about ownership. They think they still own part of your heart, and now you have confirmed it. They count on time to help them. They wait for the anger to fade, for your clarity to blur, for the version of them in your memory to soften. They know how memory works. With time, you might forget the constant worry, the manipulation, the exhaustion of walking on eggshells. You might only remember the charm, the connection, the highs. They rely on that. They let time do their work. If they sense you are moving on, they will subtly reappear to stir old emotions. Maybe they will send a simple message, just checking in, or they will share a song you both loved, or a memory from the past. These moments are not signs of growth or regret. They are bait carefully planned and perfectly timed. They want you to wonder if they have changed, if they miss you, if there is still hope. But all they are really doing is testing the door to see if it is still unlocked. The hardest part about no contact is not the silence. It is letting go of the illusion, the fantasy that one day they will finally see your value, finally treat you the way you deserve, finally become the person they pretended to be. Narcissists know this and they use it. They know you want answers, closure, understanding. You want to believe it all meant something. That is why they do not chase you. They do not think they have to. In their mind, you will eventually do it for them. When they lose access to you, they shift focus. One of the first things they try to control is the narrative. It is not about admiration, it is about manipulation. When you stop communicating, they know they cannot reach you directly anymore. So they use other paths, mutual friends, social media, shared circles. They start telling their version of the story first. They will begin subtly planting little seeds of doubt about you. They will say things like, "I do not know what happened. They just changed." Or "I tried everything, but they would not even talk to me." Those words sound harmless, but are deeply strategic. They make you look unstable or cold without sounding like a direct attack. Because narcissists often appear charming and believable, people tend to side with them. To outsiders, they look hurt, misunderstood, even victimized. And you become the one who seems unreasonable or distant. Image is everything to them. Being seen as the bad guy is their worst fear. So when you go no contact, it is not just the loss of access that bothers them, it is the loss of control over how they are seen. You leaving creates a blank space in their story, and they rush to fill it with lies and half-truths. They cannot stand the idea that people might hear your side or see who they truly are. So they craft a new version where you are the problem. You are the one who hurt them. You are the reason it all fell apart. Sometimes they do not even need to say much. They will post vague quotes about betrayal or healing from toxic people, perfectly timed to make it seem like they are recovering from someone like you. It is all an act, a performance. But it works because no one else saw what you went through. They did not witness the manipulation, the chaos, or the silent punishment. They only see what the narcissist wants them to see. And that is why protecting your peace means more than blocking them. It means refusing to explain yourself to anyone who believes their lies. Because in the end, silence is power when it is intentional. Detachment is victory when it is chosen. And the second you stop trying to prove your truth to people who are determined to misunderstand you, you start to get better.